more on this, we want to bring in Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, great to see you. Thank you for coming on. Want to talk to you about some breaking news we're getting in this morning. I understand ICE has arrested a previously deported illegal alien who you guys say was caught on video throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement during the riots here in Los Angeles on Saturday. Tell us about this guy and what charges is he now facing?
Bill, that's right. This is a Mexican national who is in our country illegally. He's being charged with attempted murder, throwing Molotov cocktails at our law enforcement officers, at our ICE enforcement officers. But this is not his first run-in with the law. Just last year, he was charged with a DUI as well as grand larceny. This is the perfect example of people who should not be in this country. And as these politicians try so vehemently to demonize and vilify our ICE officers, they are on the streets putting their lives at risk every single day to get these criminal illegal aliens off of our streets and make sure that Los Angeles and other great cities in the United States are safe.
Yeah, and we've seen all these foreign flags waving during these protests. So remarkable that an illegal alien, previously deported, now being charged with throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement down there in Los Angeles. Also want to get your attention to some of what California Governor Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass, have been saying in recent days. They're saying the National Guard isn't necessary. They've been saying things are peaceful. Here's a little bit of what they've been saying.
When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of us. It clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes.
I think that's a problem with the administration, because to come in such a massive way and to make the announcements that all of this was going to happen and then not communicate it with the local jurisdiction as to when, what, how, why, is really problematic.
These people need to be removed from office immediately. And as a matter of fact, I am so disappointed in the people in Los Angeles and California for voting them into office. You can see that they are on the front lines. I'm not talking about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. I'm talking about the ICE agents and our people that are as a part of the local police and all of these different people, even though they're getting orders from their figureheads that's above them to stand down and not to assist ICE agents and whatever, so on and so forth. These people are on the front lines and they're dealing with the people that are throwing these Molotov cocktails. And I seen a guy that was throwing a rock at different police vehicles and things like that. They won't talk about this. They won't show you this on liberal channels. And it's a reason why, because they have an agenda to be pushed. They have to make sure that you guys are programmed to still stay a part of this liberal plantation methodology and his mindset that is keeping us under duress and is keeping our borders open. And now we finally have somebody with the balls to come in and open up the possibilities of really unleashing the power of the U.S. National Guard so that they can keep things safe and so that they can keep people from tearing up government buildings and government vehicles, and then also endangering the lives of the people that are trying to keep us safe. But they won't show you this. They'll never show you this type of thing. And I'm very glad. They need to be very heavy-handed when they arrest these people that's throwing these rocks and trying to kill people, when they arrest these illegal migrants. Because let's be clear, this is not his first rodeo. This is not even the first time that he's here. It's not the first time that he's been in the United States of America and he's been deported. And so he's here illegally. I'm pretty sure that at some point, probably he came in during the Biden administration and they let these people over the border. They didn't even check them. They didn't even try to vet them to see if they're supposed to be here. They didn't justify whether or not they should have opened up our borders. And it's funny because I was looking at a live stream earlier of a young girl and she was trying to debate people that were conservative and voted for Trump. And she just completely mischaracterized, and she wouldn't even be open to the possibility that she was wrong. And she told us, her general audience, I won't say her name, she told us, her general audience, that we did not let all of these people over the border, and just because we couldn't find the true number of how many people illegally crossed over here into the United States of America, that somehow, some way, that then does not mean that millions of people cross over into the border illegally. So now we have to get all of these people out, because we don't even know who is who. These people could very, very well be horrible actors when it comes to what's going on or whether or not they want the United States of America to succeed. These people need to be out of here, and we need to be charging them with attempted murder, similar to what we see right here, and making sure that we hold them accountable.
So, Tricia, we heard Mayor Bass say it once again that local law enforcement was never notified about this ICE operation, which started on Friday. But we talked to the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, yesterday, who said that is absolutely false. He says ICE notified the locals 48 hours in advance, last Wednesday,
Of course
and
they
that they
did.
have the receipts to prove it. So is Mayor Bass just being dishonest, in your
Of course
opinion?
she is. And Gavin Newsom.
She's absolutely being dishonest. Todd Lyons is right. We had the receipts to prove it. We notified local LAPD that these ICE operations were occurring at least 48 hours in advance. And the American people should know some of the individuals that we picked up on these ICE operations. Child rapists, child molesters, murderers, convicted arsonists, truly the worst of the worst on the streets. But my message to Mayor Bass and to Governor Newsom and these riders that they back is that ICE will not be deterred. We will not be intimidated by this rider violence. We will keep going. We will only ramp up ICE operations, and we will continue to get these criminals off of our streets.
What part of that is not logical? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why is this something that we need to be divided about as far as Democrat and Republican, other than the fact that Democrats have no leg to stand on? And the only reason that we having these conversations in the first place is because they've been incompetent as leaders up to this point, as far as making sure that they govern effectively and making sure that we're not giving out resources to people that's not supposed to be here.
Now, I do want to ask you about these photos that ICE posted yesterday. It shows ICE officers conducting an operation here in Los Angeles yesterday under the guard of the U.S. military. So the U.S. military essentially providing security for ICE. I've embedded with ICE a bunch of times, first time I've ever seen this. But can you just tell us what you're hearing from ICE agents? I assume they got to be pretty happy to have highly trained military soldiers watching their six during these operations when things have gotten so hostile out here.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. This is a whole of government approach. The National Guard, the Pentagon has been fantastic in giving our ICE operations the security and support that they need to continue to get the worst of the worst off of America's streets. And we'll continue to work together, well, whether it be in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, anywhere that these riots may break out. We will continue our operations, and we will not be deterred.
So we've heard President Trump suggesting that he thinks some of these protesters might be being paid just based off how organized they are, all the matching signs, the different flags and everything. Does DHS have any kind of intelligence whatsoever to, have any evidence of that? Do you guys believe that these protesters are being paid by somebody and that these protests are completely organic?
Yeah, Bill, we have been actively working with the IRS and the FBI to see who the financial backers are. These do look like highly sophisticated, highly coordinated protesters and rioters, much like what we saw in 2020. And thank God President Trump had the foresight to see this violence coming and prevent it by calling in more law enforcement, more military resources on the ground. But I do want to say, Bill, Americans can be so proud of our law enforcement, our ICE operators, our National Guard, in the face of such hatred, in the face of them being pummeled by rocks, Molotov cocktails being thrown at them, being taunted, being so disrespected. They have stood with such dignity and patriotism, and they make America proud. And I'm so grateful to them, and every American should be.
And I am. I'm very thankful that we have ICE agents and officers and things like that that is working on the behalf of keeping Americans safe. And we are not going to continue to submit ourselves or subject ourselves to the tyranny of the liberal left that continue to let other people that don't even have our best interests at heart come across our borders and, continue to make American or American culture whatever it is that these people come from. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. I love you. I appreciate you. Can't wait to read what you guys got to say.